Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the DL. I am your host, Tyler Robertson, also the CEO and founder of Diesel Laptops. And wherever you're watching or listening today, we really appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your day to do that. And today is kind of special because I have really three things I love when it comes outside my family, right? And number one, entrepreneurship. Number two, commercial truck repair. And number three, marketing. And it's not too often I get to roll all three up into one thing. And I think a lot of our audience, as I've talked to people through the years, don't understand the importance of marketing, or they don't understand the role marketing and web design and web development really plays in your business. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, I grew my business predominantly online, from my garage to over $50 million in revenue in a year. And it was mainly because of online things that we did. And granted, we do some stuff offline, but it is a big thing if you do it right and you learn what you're doing there. So I brought in someone today that's going to break it all out of this down for us. And I think if you really listen to what he's saying, I think you're going to open your eyes up to a whole new world that's out there. So with all that said, Nick, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Tyler. I'll throw in as a first caveat that my family's number one too, and then marketing and commercial truck repair and entrepreneurship.
So I have to say that stuff, otherwise my wife that listens to the podcast and my dad's always like, "Hey, what the heck?"
Mine
right?
too. Yeah.
Right. So let's just kind of give an overview first. Dieselmatic's the company. Why don't you just give a high level of what you guys do and explain that, and then we'll kind of dive into it.
Yeah, for sure. So Dieselmatic provides digital marketing and website design and development services for truck repair shops. We deal with light duty, medium duty, and heavy duty shops, and we're all throughout North America. We are a specialist niche marketing company, which we'll dive into what that means a little bit more. But basically that means that we are specialists within the industry. So if you've ever had a local marketing company or a local website designer and you hired them to build you a new website, and you had to go through the process of explaining to them what truck alignment service is, or what EGR stands for, what a DPF is, those are the kinds of things that you don't have to waste your time doing when you hire a niche marketing company that already understands your industry. So that's kind of the brief elevator pitch.
Yeah, and all that makes sense. And I will say this to the audience too. I found you online. One of your ads actually hit me, I think, on my Facebook feed. So online marketing definitely works. But let's talk about this. So you're not a very old company. I think about a year and a half or so. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of give the background? Because this is a really targeted thing, right? I'm going to do website design for diesel repair, right? Like that's just a niche inside of a niche, essentially. Can you kind of explain, like, how did you get here?
Definitely, yeah. A lot of time and research and effort. The foundation is somewhat organic, really. So prior to Dieselmatic, I ran a generalist design and marketing agency, and we just happened to work with a local diesel repair shop. Had a great relationship with them, really over the course of 2 years, was able to grow their business from about $500,000 a year gross to just over $2 million a year. And the big kind of like light bulb moment for me was when the owner moved from his 750 square foot house to a 3,600 square foot 2-acre property. And it just really clicked for me that like the work that we were doing was directly affecting his life in a very positive way. And I saw that market gap, right? There is within this industry, there is we'll say not great competition in the digital marketing design space. Yeah. So there are a lot of people out there that can really benefit and that we can help.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. I mean, I wouldn't even say commercial truckery space. I would say the commercial truck market in general. I mean, we're in the diagnostic tool and training space. There's literally very little competition out there when we do these things. There's more now than there was a couple of years ago, and I know.
And you guys do great in terms of your like website design, marketing. But I won't disparage anyone, but there are some big companies out there who even their web presence is pretty lackluster.
Oh my God. I guess a little off topic here, but one of the companies we work with, they manufacture parts. They bought another company. They bought this company called Dayton Parts. Dayton does something like, I can't remember what it was, 300 million a year in revenue or 250, like a big number. And you went on their website, it looked like the Space Jam website from the 90s, right? Like I was like, I can't believe an organization like this that Dorman just bought them for like 350 million or something. I'm like, they got a website that looks like it's about a decade old. Yeah. And I know we talked a little bit before the air about that, but when you go out there and you see clients that you talk to, do they have no website? Do they have an old crappy website? Do they have a great website that's just not being used right? What do you typically see?
I would say probably the most common is no website followed by a Facebook page. The second would be a website builder that they've used and built themselves. So something like Squarespace or Wix, which is great if you have the ability to do it at the time, and you're starting out, you just need something out there. But yeah, I would say those are probably the two most common that we run into. And then followed by number 3 would be probably an existing website from a local marketing company. Like we were talking about a bit before, one of the biggest challenges is you get all of these shops who are local. You're, as a diesel repair shop, you are a local service business. So a lot of the time you'll look to a local marketing company or a local web design agency, and they just don't understand your industry. So yeah, you end up with this website that just doesn't really articulate your services correctly and doesn't inform your customer base of whether or not you even provide the services they're looking for.
So I think there's really two sides to this. There's the side of I own a repair shop, a mobile maintenance, whatever it is. I should have a website, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's the side of like, I need to use it as a tool to generate leads and revenue for me. So I'd like to kind of make it into two different conversations here. So on the side of just building a website, like you mentioned, you obviously are specialized in it. You understand the terminology and the words we use, and we use a lot of acronyms and industry specific jargon at the end of the day. So you have that. These local firms, and you see all kinds of things, almost like predatory. There's like, hey, we'll do a website for $199, right? And you see all these things. And I know as a business owner, they probably get like 100 people contacting them every month about, I'll build you a website, I'll do SEO, I'll do pay-per-click. How do you sort through it? Is there some like basic 101 things they should be asking or looking for when they're heading down that? Or what advice would you give them, just kind of like
Absolutely.
A step one when you know nothing?
That's a great question. So something really actionable, and this is just a term that you can try to remember. One good first test, ask them, what is local schema markup? That is something that's super niche that if you're lucky, just within like a general web design and development agency in your area, they'll know what that is. It's something that the details and the foundations, building a website, a lot of people can do it. Building a highly optimized local service business website, local schema markup is a good question to ask. And basically what it is, it's a customized bit of code that goes into your website that tells the customer or tells the search engines who you are, where you're located, how to contact you, it formats your services correctly. So one of the big things that shops do incorrectly is just list all of their services as a bullet point on their website. What you should be doing is breaking those pages out into individual service pages so that, if somebody is looking for brake service or EGR and DPF cleaning or whatever you're doing in that area, there's a specific page about it. So that would be another question that you could ask. Say, hey, what do you guys recommend in terms of articulating our services?
So I think where you're heading down with this path is, let's just talk, again, website's a tool, right? That tool is, in my opinion, solely there because people are going on Google or search engines and typing in, they're not just typing in truck repair, right? They're typing in truck repair city name or, Peterbilt alignments or, no one's searching one or two words. They're searching multiple words, these longer tail things. Yep. And I believe that's kind of where you're heading to is that's why you want to break out that stuff and really key in on what are people searching for so I can make sure I rank and I show up when people search for those key things. And I'm assuming that's what these kind of fly-by-night marketing companies that charge, $200 to pop up a website aren't doing. They're just taking a template, slapping a color scheme and a logo on there and saying, give me money.
Exactly. Yeah. And the benefits of, really digging into one area is that we've been able to build this whole platform specifically around driving service-based customers who are high intent towards your website. So for example, having just funnels that we do that are specific towards capturing customers' attention. So a typical customer path will look something like they need a service done. They search for that service. Your shop either doesn't show up on Google or Bing or wherever, and that's bad, or you do show up. You can either show up as an ad, like a Google ad that you're paying for, or an organic search result. Either one of those, customer goes to the website, they see, okay, they provide this service. I'll reach out and they send an email or a phone. A lot of marketing companies will stop there, right? But one of the things that we do that helps win back those customers is, let's say that customer wasn't ready to make their service decision right then. We will retarget those customers through social media. So we'll show your shop, just build that trust with them. And so when they get to the point of service decision, they say, hey, I remember this shop. Like I've seen them all around. I've seen customer reviews that they've had on when I'm scrolling Instagram, all that kind of stuff that just, builds customer trust.
Yeah. So I tell my marketing team here all the time, like, look, you guys really have two jobs at the end of the day. One, get our product and name in front of eyeballs and get people to engage, right? That's what I need you to do. I don't need you to sell stuff. I just need you to do that. And it's got to be the right eyeballs, right? I don't want you to be marketing diesel diagnostic tools to people looking for surfboards. Let's keep this in our vein. Yeah. And that can be a challenge to get the right traffic. And then you want to engage them on the platform. So I know you made the comment earlier to the top of this was like, hey, we took this company, we helped them. They went from $500,000 in revenue to $2 million. And I'm assuming you kind of did both those things to try to do that. Can you explain a little bit on some of the key things or some of the how did you do that, I guess? So people are sitting here wondering, because I'm sure I got business owners listening like, yeah, man, I'd like to get a 4X in my revenue. How do I do that?
There are a couple ways. So the one way is to do it yourself, right? And to go through all these paths. And the other way is to work with somebody like us. We really have a foundation of trying to give all of the information of what we do away for free. So, if you want to spend the time learning how to run your website, your digital marketing plan, strategize and develop, you can do that. Or, you get to the point where you're going to hire a marketing manager or something like that. Instead, you hire a company like us who is specific towards it. So, yeah, I would say the steps of what you want to do is first, build a website. It's a lot of learning that goes on with that. Second, instead of boosting posts on Facebook, which is a very common thing that shop owners will do, look up, go to business.facebook.com and create a Facebook business manager account and start learning how to use that. The difference between boosting posts and learning how to properly advertise through social media and target your specific audience is very significant. The last thing that you can do is Google Ads. They are kind of bridging the gap between what you were saying, where you have your, telling your marketing team to do two things: get in front of people, brand awareness. So getting your business out there on Facebook, and then Google Ads is high intent. So that's when customers are immediately looking for their service.
So I think that's a great point you hit on is really when it comes to digital marketing, there's two types that we really do. There's, hey, people are looking for us. Let's make sure our ad shows up when they look for us. And then there's the, let's just introduce, they're not even looking for us. They need us. They don't know it yet. Let me just go throw my name out there. And I think there's a good distinction there, because that first group that I just talked about, that one is usually much easier to go get new business and traffic versus just putting my name out in the marketplace. It's usually more expensive traffic, and it doesn't convert as much and do all those things. So I guess if a shop owner is listen to this, I guess the question is that I have for you, is it possible to go do this digital marketing stuff to literally go get more trucks inside your shop to work on? Is it a doable thing? Have you done it more than once? What do some of your customers say about it?
Yeah, I mean, our goal as an agency is to always just make the customer more money than they pay us. It's a very simple strategy that, as long as that continues happening, our business relationship continues. So we operate on a month by month basis, no long-term contracts, because if you're not getting an ROI, then why would you keep paying for it? So our track record is, basically within the first 3 months, on average, those people that we talked about who were, no website and a Facebook page, starting with Dieselmatic, after 3 months, we see an average of about 30 new leads per month within the first 3 months. And then from there, we kind of grow and expand. To be totally honest with you, one of the biggest issues that we run into is shops getting too busy and needing to hire, which is a whole other conversation of the tech shortage and all that. But it sounds very inflammatory, but it's an issue that we run into pretty often.
Yeah, like, hey, stop! I got too much business, right? Like it's a legit thing though, and you actually kind of led me perfectly into that as a sidebar conversation. So we just announced we leased another facility in Chicago. Mm-hmm. We have one in Texas. We're actually doing entry-level diesel technician training in those facilities. And we're doing a continuing education. So yeah, there's a huge shortage of diesel techs, and we're gonna be doing our part, because that's one of the things customers tell us too, is like, man, I'd love to buy more tools. I have more work. I don't have enough bodies to do this stuff.
Yeah, What am I gonna just have these laptops sitting there in the shop with nobody to use them?
That's it. I mean, a lot of times people buy $10,000 tools and like, well, I can't. My guys don't know how to use it. I can't afford to send them to a day training class. Like, what can we do? I'm like, It's been easy, because it's been like, well, I'll just plug it in and call our call center. We have diesel techs on a call center. So I get what you're saying, though. That's definitely a problem out there. And going back to the website, I think you hit a key point there. It's a tool in the marketing toolbox, and it has to have an ROI, else it's not worth doing. And I fully 100% agree with you in what you're saying. And I see it so often as people are like, oh, I paid this firm. They went and built me a website. And I see a lot in the commercial truck dealership world where they don't build their websites. The people that do like the used and new truck magazines to sell the classified ads are actually doing their websites for them. And I'm like, that's all fine and dandy, but now you're paying someone basically $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 a month for a template website, and you have no more traffic than you did the day before. What did you really accomplish when this was all said and done? Yeah. And even the big dealerships, most of them, they're not tracking how many users are looking at used trucks, how many clicks, how many phone calls happen because of it. They just keep paying that money every month. Yeah. And it sounds like you guys are kind of going above that for the small average guy to say, hey, look, we're going to help you guys compete.
I hate that so much, man. I hate when you like. We're talking about entrepreneurship, really. Why would you pay for something within entrepreneurship that isn't getting you a return on that investment? And one of the things that we've done is created our Dieselmatic dashboard, which gives you a complete transparent look at all of that information. So not only just, what's in Google Analytics, users, visitors, new visitors, how many people converted, it aggregates your Google ads and all that, but then also calculates your return on your investment. So depending on your shop software and setup, we do a couple different things, but we'll calculate your ROI of your ad spend based on your either an industry average, right? So on average, out of the customers who reach out to a shop, somewhere between 20 to 30% become customers. Average repair order is, maybe around 1,500, depending on what type of shop you are. It could be higher if you're a specialist shop. But then calculating that ROI based on the amount of customers that you've actually gotten. And then if you use certain types of software that in your shop that we integrate with, we'll actually pull data specifically from customers who have come in, paid an invoice. We will track that straight to the marketing campaign. And you will know, hey, this guy came in, it cost us $23 to get him as a customer. He spent $1,700 on his truck, and our net profit was $520. Right?
Yeah.
My math, don't calculate that because it was probably off, but that's approximate.
Yeah, no, I think we were getting to, though, is it goes back to what you said. You got to have an ROI. If I spend X dollars, I need to make X plus Y. Otherwise it's not worth doing. And I know we've done similar things before here. I mean, I've done all the mistakes you've mentioned. One of the big ones is like, oh, Google, throw more money, get more traffic. Throw more money, get more traffic. Throw more money, get more traffic. And all of a sudden we're spending 6 figures a month with Google, and we turned it all off and the traffic didn't die. I was what
kind of traffic is that? Where is it coming from? Is it high quality?
What's our? I mean, there's a story. I think we spent. We had Google, the product, I can't remember what they call it now, Google Shopping, the products that come up on there. And we were just like, throw a whole catalog on there. It gets us traffic. And I think we finally looked one day, like a year later, and we're like, we just spent $20,000 marketing a product that we could care. We could care less if we sell it. We sold none, by the way. But we spent $20,000 over the year bringing people to our page that had like a 98% bounce rate. So obviously that was money not well spent. And it's been, it goes back again to what you said. You either learn how to do it yourself or you pay someone else to do it. And I can just tell everyone listening to this, it's not super complicated stuff at the end of the day, but there's a lot of moving pieces there. And it's a pretty steep learning curve with terminology and how these platforms work together. And if you're just starting out, you don't need a $10,000, $20,000 a month budget to go do these things.
No.
I guess with your customers that you've brought on, can you say kind of where they usually start or what they spend a month generating leads for themselves, essentially for their repair side?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the way that we're structured. So we're a productized service. So we have 3 plans that we typically place customers on, and they're built in order to grow the shop into each plan. So the start plan is typically for shops in that just starting out to $500,000 a year range. The grow plan is for shops in the kind of 500 to $1 million. And then grow plan and customized plans beyond that are kind of the $1 million to $2 million, and then $5 million plus established shops who already have a good hold in their market. But yeah, the general rule of thumb, if you're a shop owner and you haven't been spending any money on marketing, all of the wisdom and research in the world will tell you that you want to spend somewhere between 3 to 5% of your annual gross revenue on marketing. In order to grow, you want to spend your projected. So let's say in 3 years, you want to get to $1 million a year, or you want to get to $10 million a year. That means you should be spending, if you want to get to $1 million, $30,000 to $50,000 a year on marketing. If you want to get to 10 million, 300 to 500,000. And just a really simple way to split it up. So just look at your gross. We're getting to the end of the year, and people, if your fiscal year ends in December, you'll see your gross revenue. Take a look at it, start to budget for next year, and see where you can put those marketing dollars.
Yeah, I 100% again agree with everything you're saying, and it's one of those things where you got to find the right partner. Again, going back to what I said, so many companies out there, like you said, you worked for a generalist before. It sounded like that was kind of hey, we help everybody with everything. When you can find the right people that understand your market and understand how to target them and do things go much easier and have a lot quicker ROI than you would typically expect somewhere else.
As an entrepreneur, your number one most valuable asset is time. And sure, like you can spend time learning how to build a website and do your digital marketing, but it's going to come at the expense of doing something. It's going to come at the expense of either working on your shop or on your business, or spending time with your family, or doing things that you actually want to do with your free time.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm taking away from this conversation is, one, it's definitely possible to do online digital marketing to go find traffic to bring to your shop to fix trucks. That part seems, it makes sense to me. And I think a big part of that is people need to understand, where do they spend those dollars, right? And I still see a lot of people saying, oh, I'm going to do a billboard. It's got trucks all day long, or I'm going to do a radio ad, or I'm going to, there was a magazine that just came out. I haven't looked at it in a couple of months. The last one that came out, it was a magazine that had to do with basically truck fleet maintenance. And I think it was like 30-page magazine. I think 14 of them had ads for diagnostic tools, and we weren't one of them, right?
That's print for you now.
Yeah, right. Right. So I think, I know there a lot of shop owners are, that 50, 60-year-old guy. He's done it this way his whole life. But I'm telling you, and I'm begging people that are listening out here, if you run a shop, a mobile maintenance guy, you do any kind of repairs, really talk to Nick at Dieselmatic. I'm a strong believer in digital. And the fact is, if you're doing business with Diesel laptops, you're proof that it works, because that's where we marketed to you and that's where we found you. And I can say the same thing about your website and platform and everything there going on too. So I know we didn't talk too much about your company, but just to kind of go back to there for a second. So right now, I know a year and a half old. I mean, how's it going? I mean, I remember when I was a year and a half old, I was just trying to figure out, what the heck a financial statement was and all that kind of fun stuff. How's things been going for you so far, year and a half?
Oh, it's fantastic, man. It's a lot of fun. We've got a really good team, and we're growing pretty quickly too. So, one of the biggest things that we're doing is ensuring that the customers that we work with right now are the right fit. Because the growth that we've had over the last year and a half we've had to slow it down at times. We've fallen victim to the same thing that I was telling you about. We had to stop all of our marketing because, you need to make sure, the same as growing a shop, right? Like, you need to make sure that the people that you're hiring are the right people for the job, not only just to, fit with be good at the work, but be good at working together too. And, make sure that, like I said, we want to make sure that every single month we are making you more money than you're paying us. And we need to, have systems in place to do that. So from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I'm really loving it. It's a lot of fun building those systems and processes and developing people. It's going really well.
So as an entrepreneur, is your mind already starting to like flash forward 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, and where you can go and do all those things? And you get some big ideas I can imagine are starting to roll through your head at this point as well.
Definitely, man. Especially seeing the results. We're building more and more, and with every single shop that we work with, we learn more, and we're able to use that information from that shop to help other shops that we work with. And that's the beauty of working on a partnership type basis. We're not just the software service that you subscribe to and nobody ever talks to you, right? And I mean, you guys have done a good job of doing that, where you have a lot of actual people to talk to. And we're the same way. You're hiring people who are very systematized. Looking at the future, we have a very ambitious growth path ahead of us because of the market that's out there. We just want to keep providing a really solid service to people.
Well, I think you picked a great industry to be a part of. I mean, I see freight rates are at an all-time high. Order boards are booked out a year for new trucks. Used truck prices are skyrocketing. There's more freight to haul now than ever. And I was just telling the stat to somebody else. 2020, when we entered the year and when we left the year, there was less commercial trucks on the road by the end of the year than when the year started. And that's the first time it's ever happened because nobody built trucks in 2020 because of COVID. Nobody was buying, and now part shortages and all this, which goes all back to say, you know, if someone's listening to this and they don't have a full shop and a backlog going on, they probably have some work that needs to be done. There's plenty of work to be had out there. People just aren't finding you. You got to know how to get your name out there and have people actually find those. You guys obviously do a great job at that. And I'm not afraid to say either, like, I was really excited to find you because forever we've been wanting to help our customers build better websites. And it's always been a struggle because they know they need to. Most of them, like you said, don't have one, or they have a idle Facebook page or whatever it is. And they just don't know. So I'm like, man, I've always been looking for a resource. I'm like, man, I wish I knew somebody that could help the commercial truck repair industry, especially the independent guys, build their website, because it is a gold mine out there. They just need a little bit of guidance to go do it. So I'm glad I ran across you.
Cool, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice getting that feedback as we grow, and feeling like we're making a difference in the industry, right? And really being able to, help people.
Yeah, no, I like it. And I think it's safe to say, I would imagine the future, people listening and watching will see some stuff come out between the two of our companies working together. I know we're talking about sharing APIs and doing some different things. And obviously we get a couple hundred new customers every month that pretty much all need websites. So we're going to find some ways to like connect the dots here to help everybody out. So I'm excited for where it goes. Excited to keep learning more about your company, watching you guys grow. It's been good so far, getting to know your company and everything. So if people want to get a hold of you or get a hold of Dieselmatic, where's the best place to go do that?
Yeah. Thank you, by the way, too, Tyler. Same thing for me. It's really been nice just talking to you and following you and seeing how you've grown. Diesel Laptops, definitely an inspirational thing for me as an entrepreneur. The easiest way to get a hold of us, just go to dieselmatic.com. We have a very simple scheduling process, so you can actually just go on there, click on the schedule a call. You can pick a time that works for you, typically a time when you're having 20 minutes in the shop. We can either do a phone call or a video call. You schedule it, and then we'll get in touch and we'll start chatting about how we can help you, where you're at as a shop, and see if there's some potential for a partnership there.
Hey, I view you just like us. If we're not helping you make money or save time, you shouldn't be doing business with us, right? I mean, that's really what it is at the end of the day. That's why both of our companies exist. So great having you on the show. I really appreciate it. And as I end every episode, I always say it's not just diagnostics, it's diagnostics done right. And a lot of that starts with actually having a website and one that actually produces some leads for you. So check out Nick, check out Dieselmatic. Thank you much for coming on the show. And thank you for everybody that's been watching or listening to this episode everywhere that podcasts are played. Thank you again. Have a great day.